right then, we're looking forward to your questions, and our next stop takes us to Denmark now, where we will learn how Edge as a service complements and completes, so to say, cloud computing and accelerates the integration of security systems. And for this, we will meet the Vice President Technology Partners Milestone, Keven Maria. It is really nice having you back again, Keven. I know maybe you are feeling a little bit ill, so thank you very much for making it and being here as one of the stars from the ESCON 2020. So you are here now, a star of the ESCON 2021, and the floor is yours.
Thanks very much for that introduction, and it's great to be here again, second year in a row now. And today, as was mentioned, I'd like to talk about what we call Edge as a Service. And this is an opportunity to spend 10 minutes to get you interested in this, to learn about what is Edge as a Service and how it does complement and complete cloud. So in the next slide, what we're really looking to do here is to first define what is Edge as a Service, and this is a new term within the security industry, and it's a term and a delivery model that can accelerate edge computing of artificial intelligence, which is a very broad field, in which you as the service provider provide all or nearly all of the infrastructure required to deliver edge-based applications, which we've been hearing a lot about today during the ESCON show. But the key here is that this shields the customer from the technical and market volatility, because we are in an early adopter space. So Edge as a Service is the possibility to reduce the risk regarding implementation, to shift and make the consumer choices from that of choosing a particular product to that of choosing a particular outcome. And last is to focus on and help the customer focus on building business enabling applications rather than building infrastructure. The infrastructure is mostly in place in today's security operations. So we need to look beyond building infrastructure and to now look to be building outcomes. In the next slide, I will talk about the fact that there is an evolution, and Josh just talked a bit about that, but I want to provide maybe a more precise example of the evolution that has happened within the security systems professional space. That we are seeing, as Josh talks about also, that there is an increasing value add and delivery of services over time to the end customer. But over this entire industry, we've seen the innovations come and be able to help transform that. And from the beginning days of analog CCTV and electronic surveillance, we've moved towards digital recording and IP network connected devices, cloud managed technologies, and as we talk a lot about here at ESCON, the integration in app platforms. But really where we are today is around how do we implement and apply the technologies that utilize an inference engine or artificial intelligence. And the role within the security systems professional has moved from being a dealer to an integrator, that of a partner, more of a managed service provider, developer, as we just talked about, and I believe today an edge service provider. So what does an edge service provider, what is the role of the edge service provider? So if we look at this in a vertical stack, we see that the edge as a service provider is there to create video insights or the video insight creation. And enabling the video insight creation requires a set of applications that increase in complexity, both from creating a subjective or guessing of the insight to a descriptive, what has happened within that, a diagnostic, why is it happening from an insight standpoint, and then moving to the more complicated predictive, what will happen when, and the top of the insight creation is a prescriptive action to take. An edge as a service provider's job is to be able to build these video insights from a creation standpoint. But there's also a key role that once you've got these horizontally, the edge as a service provider needs to be able to assist the end customer in adopting these. And enabling use and adoption of security data will provide the end customer or the operation to be able to take action. There's 4 dimensions we see with this that the end customers have regarding an insight adoption. It's one that they're either unaware or they are becoming aware that there's opportunities here, they're using insights, or that they're scaling. And within that, we talk about the fact that Edge as a service complements and completes the cloud is a key here in this next couple of steps. So we see today that we have a very connected edge computing security operations, one that is very much related to network connected cameras, video management system. We have good infrastructure here, which we've been starting to add some intelligence to help be descriptive of and aware of what's going on. But that's not very intelligent. So we've used cloud over the past years to try to build up what we call a cloud-enabled security video analytics space. And this is where we start to try to, with larger data sets, create better models. And when we then look at how do we then use cloud to apply those from an insights, we say that there is cloud-enabled security data insights. But the place that we're really headed to is what we refer to as the accelerated edge computing, where we create an intelligent security operation. And the role of the edge as a service provider is to increase the video insight creation capability, as well as to help the customer move towards the insight adoption. But in order to do this, you have to understand the key elements of an edge computing strategy. And in an edge computing strategy, edge as a service focuses on the delivery model for edge computing. The combination of Azena's platform, Milestone Systems video management system, and the standards that we get from the Open Security Safety Alliance, where I am a vice president of also, we can deliver an open edge computing strategy. Now, let me put the analogy. Today's video devices that have accelerators or inference engines in them are becoming extremely powerful to run. However, that does not necessarily mean that they by themselves produce value or insights or the adoption of them. So a strategy here for the edge computing resources is critical, and it requires that you have 5 key aspects. You need to have a vision of how you would like to have edge computing utilized. You need to have use cases, which we've heard many examples over the past couple of days with. You need to be able to overcome the challenges, and one of the ways to do that is with standards, such as what we create in the Open Security Safety Alliance. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, is you need to be able to execute that. And when we look at the different use cases, in this case, Smart City, Milestone has seen a significant number of use cases that utilize our technology, but the use cases can be further enhanced to create valuable insights and the adoption of them when you apply artificial technology and edge as a service capabilities. There are enormous numbers of use cases that we see with just one vertical, such as smart cities. And this gives an example of where we see those. You can rethink urban living with artificial intelligence. But edge in or cloud out is a question we often ask ourselves. And we look at today's edge as a service providers, they have a choice of where they would like to run the neural networks that are providing the inference for these use cases. But power and compute capabilities are critical considerations when you're designing and deploying solutions. So everybody talks about cloud, but what they don't talk about it is in the context of cloud out or edge in. And in this particular case, you have choices of where you would like to run this. And it requires an understanding of the topology, the compute, the data, the capabilities, and the location. Edge in is the new black. It is where the market will grow and develop from here because it is closest to the customers. Everybody talks about IoT, but they don't talk about the value that IoT takes. And where IoT runs is on the edge. So edge in is an ability to provide a distributed, it provides real-time capabilities, it works with the type of edge native data, which we in the security industry know how to manage. It has context, and it is everywhere from a location standpoint. Comparatively, cloud out is very centralized. It has great scale and depth. However, the data types are really very long-lived and at rest. And lastly is there are strong standards for cloud, but they are typically not running on the edge. And so this gives us an opportunity to really help our customers and edge as a service providers have an ability to show how edge in can complete the overall strategy. But to be successful in edge services, you need to have focus. And most edge computing successes we've seen through 2021 have been based upon explicit, often custom-made, vertically focused applications driven by edge as a service providers. We saw Steve talk about, from a Vivotech standpoint, the exact example with this salmon farm where they built a custom application, vertically focused, that was driven from the edge, is a perfect example where we see significant opportunities. But you don't have to be a data scientist to make this work, and I think that's one of the key aspects. Why edge computing versus cloud computing is the fact that we have a unique workload and data characteristics on the edge which will push processing. And this processing on the edge has 4 laws which we typically would work with customers to discuss. The law of the physics, the law of economy, the law of the land, and Murphy's law. So to explain that a little bit, law of physics really means that there is a physical aspect or a physics aspect. You can only move things so fast within the network and within the site. So when you need things with lower latency, you need them close to the interaction or the edge device. The law of the economy says that it is becoming less expensive to run high-end AI compute inference on the edge devices than try to concentrate that in cloud settings. We are seeing significant developments in the camera devices and their ability to use inference. Law of the land really talks about the regulatory requirements of keeping data sovereign within a particular territory. And Murphy's law is about the fact that things break. And if everything is in the cloud, the system may not continue to operate. So last but not least, edge security as a strategic planning assumption needs to include the concepts around data protection and cybersecurity. Gartner Group estimates by 2025 that enterprises which continue to converge operational and information technology systems, that 25% of those edge networks will be breached, up from less than 1% in 2021. So security continues to be a critical area. And there are many different aspects that you look at here: edge system capabilities, as well as edge solution. How do we evolve the edge securely? And lastly is how do we take the responsibility? And edge as a service providers are in the best position to do that. So I hope this has been an informative session to you. There's a really exciting new opportunity that is developing with artificial intelligence, and the delivery mechanisms as edge as a service are where they're at. Again, my name is Keven Barrier. I'm the Vice President of Technology Partners at Milestone Systems. The contact details are here. If you'd like to know more about how you can participate in this exciting area, please reach out to me, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.